Sorry, that delay between the timer and us going live always gets everybody. So, guys, thank you for joining us on our live broadcast today. We are joined by Haleigh Bush-Kurth, and she is with the Better Together team in the lower part of Dallas. So, Midlothian. Not everybody knows where that's at. So, give us some idea what you are, who you are, how long you've been in real estate, and kind of give us a breakdown.
Awesome. So I'm Haleigh. Awesome to be here. Thank you, Brian, for including us in this. We're super excited. So we are actually in Ellis County. So if you have Dallas, we have Fort Worth, and then here's Midlothian. And so we service right here, Ellis County, Midlothian primarily, Waxahachie, Ennis, Maypearl, up into Tarrant, Johnson, and the south side of Dallas County. So we kind of cover that whole 20 South area.
Excellent. All the towns that you don't know how to say. Waxahachie, it took me, I still don't think I say it right. So yes, absolutely. So all those little areas on the bottom kind of giving you just the general section and a great access into Dallas on a regular basis. It's, when I drive down there, it's 20 minutes to basically 30 minutes to the airport, basically.
Yeah, you can get to either Metroplex, Dallas or Fort Worth with about 30 minutes or so. So if you are relocating to the Dallas area, we have great schools down here. It's easy to get to the Metroplex. It's a great spot to be. You got, 35 right there, 287 up into 20. It's super easy access everywhere.
And the beautiful thing down there is that you also have very affordable housing in comparison to some of the other parts of the Metroplex. Things like Frisco have almost priced themselves out of the market, whereas you still have very reasonable priced homes in the consideration. Now, my market, as compared to yours, it's obviously way more expensive, but in the Dallas metro area, it's still very reasonable in price, correct?
Yes, we're still, we're not quite as crazy as Frisco, McKinney yet. It's kind of creeping in, but we are still servicing all those 250 buyers. That's not that common in Ellis County DFW area anymore. We're still being able to get those first-time home buyers into good homes in our area where it's a little bit tougher on the north side into McKinney and Frisco.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things that we're having you on for today is kind of the discussion of how you are still seeing success when a lot of real estate agents are even getting into the business and not finding any ability to find buyers or listings in this current market. So just to kind of open that dialogue, you've had a license for how long total?
8 years.
Okay, so in that 8 years, you've actually been live selling for how long of that? Because a little bit you were doing some admin work, correct?
Yeah, so I've always kind of sold. I had my fund money, before, and I would say the last 4 or 5 years have been strictly straight up real estate commission, as our salary versus administrative side.
Okay. And then in that timeline, you've been pretty consistent in your type of business, and most of your stuff operates on a referral basis, correct?
Yes. I don't pay for a lot of lead sources. We are very lucky and fortunate to have a strong community here that supports us all through referrals.
Gotcha. And that's a key, is that a lot of your business comes from your tie-ins to the community and your participation in events in the community, correct?
Yes, I'm heavily involved with our chamber here in Midlothian. I'm an ambassador for them, and I serve on a couple committees. So the auction and the Wine and Arts Festival, which is the biggest one, so heavily involved in some of those big community events, and that's a big pull for us. We've been here for a long time, so that helps too. But I really work those other business owners, that chamber resource, to help build up our business.
Great. And then so talk to me about, or let's not talk to me, but let's talk to the agent out there sitting on the line right now saying, I'm gotten into the business and it's really difficult right now to sell houses, to find houses for buyers. Let's have that discussion.
Okay, wow. That's real. That was real for us as experienced agents this last year, right? We all know what 2020 did to everybody. It made it go a little nutty. And we had that conversation amongst ourselves. What are we going to do differently? How are we going to set ourselves apart? So the good thing is, when you get with a good company, your brand is recognized. So that's another big part of it. We work really hard to make sure that we are recognized in the community in what we do, so that when they see our name come across, they know we're serious and they know that we mean business.
Absolutely. And also making sure that you're representing that brand, right? So you want to make sure that you're kind of keeping that top of mind authority in front of people at all times. And sometimes you need to make sure that that brand stands aware that your brand, right? So behind you, and your camera's tilted just a little bit down, but right below you, there's their logo, right? So you need to brand yourself in an effort to make sure that you are getting the best value, because while most real estate agents do build their business around the modeling of a brokerage, we need to make sure that you also are building your own personal business, because you and I are entrepreneurs. We need to make sure that the entrepreneur spirit is maintained. We got to pay taxes, we got to do all that stuff, but we also have to have a business model that works and that we can promote. And the potential of eventual sale only happens if you have something that's tangible, right? A database or a business that you've created.
Correct. And so we work really hard for our Better Together Realty brand to be known, and known that we are the professionals that you want in your corner.
Now, just out of curiosity, so this is actually kind of new to you still. You're kind of just opening the team dynamic. This is whereas I've been in the team dynamic for a long time. You've kind of just opened that avenue of growing your business from an individual agent selling and doing all the legwork to now you're opening that resource. Correct?
Yes. So this is our second official year. It's really kind of on that third. So I actually went and met with Brian, and he said, you need to hire an assistant and you need to do some of those things. And so I started with the assistant role, knowing that she was going to become a buyer's agent for me. And then me and Colton, my husband, were ready to grow our family, all that kind of stuff. And we knew that we were going to need a team around us. So it was me and Colton, and then Dana is our buyer's agent, and she was my assistant for a little while as well. Now she's a full-fledged buyer's agent, doesn't have time to be my assistant anymore, which is a good problem. And we really got going. So this is our second full official year as a team. Loving it. It's a whole new dynamic, but it has brought so much value to our clients, because that, oh no, I'm double booked, oh, I can't go, that's not happening anymore. We're able to service 3 times the people at one time.
Exactly. And that's the benefit of having that growth model, right? So, and everybody kind of has the ability to grow at their own pace. So some people grow in one avenue, but even as that single agent, one of the things I always tell people is like, listen, what would be one thing that I would change from the get-go of my real estate career? And that is the answer. I would find somebody, if it's not a full-time assistant, at least somebody part-time that can facilitate the whirlwind, right? If you've read the right books, the whirlwind takes over everything, and you lose the ability to service the client the right way, because you're dealing with the whirlwind, right? You're up at 11 o'clock at night putting in an MLS. That's not good for your business. It's not good for your general well-being either, and people tend to burn themselves out.
Yeah, so we really focus on delegating that kind of stuff out. We really try to delegate out those to the right person on our team too. So, I have an administrative background, so I can get those tasks done faster than, say, Colton, who's a little more on the creative side and personable and things like that. So we just have different pools. Dana can talk to a wall, and that's why we love her so much. And she's out there making all these leads come in. And then we put it in the right spot. We have the right people in play, so all those action steps get done in a timely manner. And that has been a huge help in talking to other people like you and other teams around that help us get those systems in order. And that's a big part. You got to start like you're big so that you can continue to grow into that.
Yeah, and it's also having a very open mind, and that's one thing that I always have kind of liked about you, is that you're willing to take in and receive pretty much any input from people that are seeing success in other places, right? So if a person is willing to open that dialogue, and the other thing is you're also willing to share, right? Yeah. And that's one thing that I want people to realize. Anybody that's watching, contact me, contact Haleigh, contact people that are willing to give away, because there's no secrets in real estate, right? I don't think you figured out one, and I know I haven't. So the truth of the matter is that we tend to fall into this category where, I heard from an agent one time, are you trying to steal my secrets? Because I was calling them, asking them a question. And I said, what secrets do you have? If you have them, I'd love to steal them, because I don't know any secrets in this business. It's all a function of just taking what you have and turning it into value, right? It's those details. So that's one thing that I think everybody can kind of accommodate for. And I would suggest that, Haleigh's information is sitting below. My information is, I'll put it up at the end of the meeting, but contact us, ask us questions, ask what failures we had.
Yeah.
Guys, I've said it. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on mistakes. Don't do that. Learn from mine and don't have to make them yourself, right? That's the key.
Yeah, and we're open to share. I mean, we get together with agents here locally, all the way out to how our relationship has built up over the years, to reach out for help. There are so many things that you have said, 3 words. I'm like, oh my God, I need that. Like, yes, that's was the missing piece. And if I can help somebody put their business together like that, I'm open to. I would love to sit down with anybody and talk about it, because we're a community and we have to stick together.
Absolutely. And that's the one thing that kind of is, resonating in the marketplace right now, is the fact that growth of the teams that are growing has been in a collaborative method, right? It's been in a very collaborative environment. And that's something that is really exciting. The advent of social media, not so much the political climate of it, but more so the ability to share, right? We're doing this Facebook Live right now. According to the stream, it looks like we have about 65 people on. So 65 people across 9 channels. That's just what's watching it live, right? So afterwards, what happens is people start to ask questions. They start to post comments, and that's the growth of the team. Now, that will kind of be a segue into the conversation of, you've made a recent big change, right? And I know everybody's, oh my gosh, it's going to start into the recruitment side. It's not. What it's going to come down to is, that's kind of collaborative in the conversation. So Haleigh and I had a conversation that basically said, hey, I've made the move, right? Mm-hmm. I even sold off my ownership in a brokerage to make the move. Mm-hmm. And I did that because I saw an opportunity for my team to grow. And Haleigh's always kind of functioned on that as well, a way that they can make money whilst I'm making more money, right? That I think that's the win-win for everybody. In the words of my previous business partner, if I'm winning and everybody's winning, we're all winning together, and that's the success level, right? Yeah. So I think you've kind of seen that starting out and getting that feel for new things that are going on.
Yeah, change is always a little scary, right? And so we just ripped the Band-Aid and did that, and that was a lot. And it was all the things, from the emotions to the identity of who am I now. I mean, all the drama in that. But ultimately, it was the best thing for me and my family, and we are so excited for all of that. Now, with the move, my dad is on our team, so now he is one of my team members, which that's a new role a little bit too. But it allows him to do some other things that he's really good at. He's able to get into some other roles himself, and I'm excited for that. And if you have more questions about why, talk to me. We don't have to get personal here, but it is a business, and when you look at the business, it made a lot of sense for us to make that change so that we had the room to grow like we wanted to.
Well, and obviously there's the financial gain, there's the financial benefit of just simple commission structures, but there's also the collaboration of the people that are around us, right? So when Haleigh connected, we were able to have the conversation that, hey, listen, I'm going to still be there, whether you stay, whether you go, whether you do anything. And I believe Haleigh still operates in that fashion, that you would still give anybody help, whether that is, from any brokerage anywhere in the Metroplex. It's the question of, now I have a vested interest in making sure that Haleigh has that benefit. And I think that's the one value add that comes into play. We've now become partners. Without the ability of you having to look at my bottom line and me having to look at your bottom line, we're still partners in success of moving forward, right?
Right. And it takes a little bit of that. Like, I feel like we've been able to team up without having to try to make some massive team across the state. It wasn't anything like that. We were just able to start working together in a better capacity than we were able to before.
And it also comes down to, you have that ability to grow nationwide with those people that you're already collaborating with, right?
Exactly.
I spend my time and in the evening on Facebook groups telling people what I'm seeing as a success and stealing things that they're seeing as a success. Well, now I have the opportunity that we can also make that partnership along with it. And then mix that one little facet into play that, even on your side, the fact that you as a husband wife team came in and were able to save even more on commission is even bigger. I mean, that's an $8,000 bottom line increase.
Yes.
Just in that simple fashion. That's pretty amazing in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in one move. I mean, and the list kind of goes on that for at least our team and the way that we function. It's been incredible to see that bottom line grow.
And keep in mind, we've made this move, but it's not the perfect move for everybody. And I think that we'll both be respectful to the fact that it may not be the perfect move for everybody. And that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. That doesn't mean that we won't help. That just means that we haven't gotten you to a status where the move is right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we had this meeting today, is because you are seeing the success that is taking you to the point where now that bottom line doesn't really matter, because that means you can put more money back into your business to grow your business, right?
Yes.
So the individual agent, it's great to have the support network. But as you start to see that growth, it is nice to be able to put more bottom line, profit center back up, right? That's beneficial.
Yeah. Sorry, it's raining, and so all my allergies are just going crazy. But yes, I mean, it's been amazing. If you have questions, reach out. I know earlier we kind of touched on one of something else that we're doing in the marketplace. So I wanted to kind of circle back around to that for a little tip. Since y'all made it through our little EXP, we were excited about that. So we want to talk about it. But one thing that our team is doing to really try to help stand out, if you're not having your lender call the other agent, just when you're submitting an offer, have your lender call them. That has made such a huge difference. Our team members are calling and making sure that agent knows who we are, making sure we made some kind of connection with them. We just executed one yesterday, and I can tell you it is because I know her and we work together and we collaborate outside of just a deal together. And that really helps. And we are taking everything, there's so many forms and there's so many PDFs and all that. We're making sure it's all in one PDF with everything that they would possibly need, buyer letter, pre-approval, every document that's possibly needed that we have in one packet. So it's the simplest way that they can present it. We know everything got to the seller, and just to show them that we are trying to be as easy to work with as possible. We are trying to make this as smooth as possible. So we are trying to upfront set that with their perfect offer. So that's one thing that we've really implemented.
Absolutely. And that's a huge benefit, because a lot of people are receiving multiple offers. And when you receive multiple offers, the downside is that you have to kind of organize multiple offers, right? So that can be a real headache in a lot of different ways. So providing it in a simple document is very powerful and can have a lot of benefit to the bottom line. We actually go one step further with that. And what we do is we actually create a offer cover letter. And in that offer cover letter, basically our goal is to present all the pertinent facts: sales price, financing type, contingency timelines, and also, just simple details like acceptance as is, any of those details, those main trigger items. When you look at an offer on your phone, that 5-inch screen, what items are you looking for? And we try to put that at top of mind authority in a cover page. That way the agent has, because remember, you deal with 60 offers, right? We had 62 offers on a house the other day. 62 offers is chaos for the agent.
Anybody.
But now imagine I got to present that to the buyer or the seller, excuse me. They can't even fathom what that means, right? So having some organization to that, and those tips are amazing. Yeah, that stands your offer out above the rest for sure.
Yeah, just anything to make it easier. And so we've been seeing that breakdown in the email, but now, of course, we talked and I have another to-do list created, and we're going to put that on top of that packet, because anything to make us stand out that we are easy to work with. Because like you said, 60 offers, and in Ellis County, we're getting up there in those numbers. It's a lot on the seller. So you want to show that you are somebody to work with. And
it can almost take it to the point where it is, you're going to miss stuff, right? Because here's the thing: there's also in the offer transmission, right? So from another agent coming into me as a listing agent, sometimes you miss stuff. I mean, guys, I get 100+ emails a day. If it's not labeled or titled, it can be missed. So call, make that text, send a message, something to kind of reiterate that I've sent an offer. Don't just expect because you sent it to me that we're good to go. I mean, you need to have some style of confirmation.
Yes,
Right?
and on the listing side of that, right now we know it's a seller's market, but when we get a listing, we try to make sure that we communicate as best as we can from the listing side to a buyer's agent because we know it's hard. And so from the listing side, we kind of create a little text template that the whole team has that says, here's the update on the situation so that we can all be communicating because it's hard on that side too. And we all have to remember that it's crazy. We got to work together.
So there's two things that I'll offer just as a solution to things that we're doing, trying to accommodate. So the first is we create a calendar item, and anybody that presents an offer, we actually drop them into that calendar item. So let me give you, for instance, today, let's say we're going to put a property active, but we're not planning on, presenting offers until say Saturday. So what we do is we make a calendar item for Saturday morning. We say offer submission deadline Saturday morning, and anybody that even inquires about that property, we drop them into the calendar item. And then we take that calendar item and then we change it from offer selection, or we change it from offer submission to offer selection. And we push that out a couple hours to give the seller enough time. So we'll move that calendar item. And when we move that calendar item, it notifies all the people that were already attached to it. And then we move it to offer selection, and then we take it from there. So, and we'll actually change that item to now a backup status. Now that brings me to the second item. So backup offers are one of those things, and I'm going to talk from both sides of the equation. The buying side is an amazing tool and resource that nobody uses. So most of us put a backup offer in play, and that backup offer is not actually going to be worked on until something happens with the initial contract. Well, the question is, why would you do that? Why not work that contract as such? And now I'm going to switch to the listing hat and say, listen, 90% of contracts are not closing on time, right? So if I have a secondary contract coming behind, ready to close, in case that first one doesn't, why wouldn't I just close in a day or two rather than, and all I have to do is move the appraisal instead of having to go back to square one and start another 30, 45-day timeline. Right? So those are two great tools that are working both on the listing side and the buying side by taking a backup, but actually encouraging that they move forward with it. So no, it's been huge. And well, I'm going to ask the question, how many pre-qualified buyers do you have right now?
Right now we have between 10 and 15 that are
exactly. Now, when has that ever been the case, right? 15 years in real estate, never had that many pre-qualified buyers. So here's the problem. Listen, buyers cheat on their agents every day, right? They cheat on them all the time because, listen, if I tell a buyer, hey, buyer, I'm sorry, that house is pending, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call Haleigh and say, Haleigh, is this house available? And how Haleigh responds is going to be the determination if they decide to move forward or not. So I need to give a solution. And that backup status is now a solution that has a tool that can bring in, hey, listen, and now what's the worst case scenario? Let's say they don't get the house. Right? If we aren't the same financing portion as the initial offer, the worst case scenario is they may be paid for an additional appraisal, maybe. Yeah. If it's the same type of offer, same type of financing, then that's not the case. But let's say that's the worst case. But then let's say the person does end up, the primary offer closes. We now have a fully qualified buyer that's gone through all the underwriting conditions, and all we need to do on the next house is get another appraisal. Now, granted, that could take like 7 months, right? I think that's the last statement of appraisal. Yeah. I'll get one that gets done in 2 days, and then I'll get one that's 4 months down the line. I don't understand the process, but nonetheless, so that's the worst case. We just have to get the appraisal done, but we have all of our other underwriting documents already taken care of. So that's the worst case. And this is just, am I telling you to do this in every market? No, but I am telling you right now, as a listing agent, if you look in the MLS, you can see that 90% of contracts are having a slight extension on closing date. 90%. That seems like pretty good odds for my buyer to jump right into the equation. and make sure that that offer gets accepted.
Yeah,
so
and
two things that have been really great.
I love that you said both of those, because we are encouraging backups more than we ever have before, which is kind of funny. And we've actually thought with our local lenders and talked about go ahead and putting some of these really good buyers through underwriting. And they are working on an additional letter that they are sending to us along with their pre-approval that says, no, we've made it through underwriting. They are good. So we now know that finance period is really just for an appraisal. So we've worked on that side too. So I love hearing that you're doing something that we're doing.
Absolutely. And just finding those little nuances in the business to figure out how can I succeed just a little bit more. Now, you guys are huge Buffini fans, and I love all of what Buffini brings into favor, because basically it's the concept that nothing's changed in real estate in the last 50 years. Yeah. All that's changed is the technology has allowed us to do the same thing we should have been doing, just a little more efficiently, right? Yeah. And that's the key. So, I mean, I hope you would agree with that, at least.
Oh yeah. I think that Buffini takes it like, do not forget the basics. Do not forget to call people. Do not forget to build those relationships. You know, don't rely on solely internet. Don't rely on all the technology. Use it to your advantage, but be about the relationship.
Well, for new agents, it's somewhat too easy to jump into the market, buy Zillow leads, buy Realtor.com leads, buy this lead, buy that lead, buy every other lead in the mix. It's too easy. Yeah. Let's get back to the basics. Let's find the value in what we do. You know, Mike Ferry was in a presentation one time, and he said very simply, he talked to his broker, and the broker said, go knock on 100 houses. Mike comes back the next day and say, okay, what do I do next? And he's like, I thought that would take a couple weeks. It's like, no, I did it in one day. And he picked up like 3 listings out of it. Yeah. So he said, go do another. And he continued to do this. And over the course of 6 months, he had multiple listings because he was willing to put in the hard work up front and was able to define what he became afterwards. So that's the point, is that sometimes you just got to listen and don't necessarily, you know, on our side, giving that recommendation, don't have the expectation they're not going to do it. Expect that they're going to exceed by doing it. So, yeah. Well, very good. Well, I'm excited. I'm guys, 15 years in the business. I think anybody around me can say that I am probably at the peak of my excitement level when it comes to real estate. And I think that just in talking to you, Haleigh, and your dad, I think that is also resonant in your general demeanor and overall. So.
Oh yeah, no, we are excited. We are not going anywhere. We are excited to take it to the next level. And so obviously, if y'all need anything, reach out. If you're curious, reach out. And always, we are never too busy for your referrals.
Excellent. And just below, you have all the information, contact. Guys, for my information, if you have any questions, I will throw it up there real quick. And guys, we are here for you. We are here to help you anytime, any process, anything you need. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Haleigh, thank you for coming on. Stay with me real quick. And guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate, reach out. I'm going to end the broadcast. Have a great week. Enjoy. See you guys later.